Dear Naruvians, good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for the International Women's Day celebration. To start the event, let's rise for the Tamil Thai Varthu, followed by the national anthem of Uganda. I would like to call Dr. Arvind Nair, Chief of Medical Services, Naruvi Hospitals, to welcome the gathering.
Good morning. Her Excellency, Mrs. Grace Akello, Ambassador from the Government of Uganda, Mr. Sophia, Mr. G.V. Sampath, our Chairman, Mrs. Anita Sampath, Vice Chairman, Dr. Paul Hendry, our Director, senior faculty, colleagues, members of the administration, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming Her Excellency, Mrs. Grace Akello, Ambassador of Uganda, to our hospital. On behalf of our Chairman and all the faculty here, we give you a hearty welcome. It is very appropriate that a lady who has made her mark as an ambassador and as a writer is to be the guest of honor for today's function. We all know the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. In our country also, seats in parliament, assemblies and civic bodies are reserved for women. The armed forces are no exception. We have women flying our fighter jets, and women are given permanent commission in the army. In the medical profession, women are leaders, and we must realize that behind every man there is a successful woman. It may be a mother, it may be a sister, or it may be the wife. Women's empowerment in every field is the order of the day. And the world today, women are heading governments, CEOs of companies, and heads of many organizations. We are very happy that we have Mrs. Grace Akello with us today for this women's celebration. We welcome you all to this session and we hope we have a useful time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Light symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, and strength. To solemnize this special event, I request Madam Grace and Ms. Anita Sampath and Madam Sophie to light the traditional Kuttuvilakku. To represent the medical and nursing side, I request Dr. Sonia, Head of Pediatrics, and Ms. Kalyarasi, Nurse Manager, to join the dignitaries. Words can move mountains and motivate people. We now have an opportunity to fuel our thoughts. May I call upon Dr. Ganga, our consultant from Department of Nephrology, to share her thoughts on women empowerment.
Yatra naryastu pujyanti, ramante tatra devataha. Yatra istastu na pujyanti, sarvastatra falakriya. This is a verse written in Manusmriti, which is one of our ancient scripture, which can be translated as, where women are honored, gods are pleased, and where women are not honored, any sacred ritual done yields no benefit. Bright morning to one and all, distinguished dignitaries on the dais, and my dear colleagues. My name is Dr. Ganga, and I am working here at Naruvi as consultant nephrologist. I consider it as an honor to speak about women empowerment today. Gender equality is first and foremost a human right. Women in 21st century are striving to achieve equality in business, commerce, and professional endeavors. Though there has been significant progress in various fields, multiple challenges yet remains to be solved, especially with respect to equitable access to healthcare. So I would like to bring your attention to a couple of incidents that happened in my outpatient clinic, which made me wonder if women are really empowered with respect to making healthcare choices. So the first incident was a middle-aged male who walked into my clinic and was found to have kidney failure. He was suggested to undergo kidney transplantation, and we asked him to identify a potential donor in the family. So he comes in next visit with his wife and says the wife will be the donor. So we had an elaborate discussion with the family, and while they were about to leave, she slipped in a note on my desk. The note read, "Please save me. I don't want to donate my kidney, but my family is forcing me to do so. And if I tell this in public, I'm scared my family will abandon me and my children. Please save me." So this was first incident where the family had coerced the lady to make a healthcare choice without her consent. Now, this is just one end of the spectrum. You see the other end, where another lady, she herself suffering from kidney failure, was suggested to undergo transplant, and her husband was more than willing to donate. But she herself considered that she, being a homemaker and not giving any financial support, didn't want to trouble her husband anymore, and so she denied taking organs from the husband. Now, these two are not isolated incidents, but we face these challenges every day. The first one, where the lady was forced to make a healthcare choice without her consent, and the second incident, where the lady considered herself to be so unworthy because she did not make any financial support to the family, discarding all the other support she is providing to the family. So, this is just tip of the iceberg, and the population that I mentioned, the nephrology patients that I mentioned, is just a small crowd, and I am sure this can be extrapolated to all our specialties, where women are not empowered to make adequate healthcare decisions. There are multiple socio-economic factors involved in this treatment gap, but one among that in low and middle income country is the fact that male being the major breadwinner are given better treatment choices. So us as doctors and as people in healthcare profession can take an oath today to educate not just the lady but also her family so that we can empower her to make healthcare choices. So as an initiative towards this, here at Naruvi Hospital, we have a wellness women health checkup where we cater the needs for women. These are separately identified across different age groups, and we serve women separately so that they can live a fulfilled life. I would like to thank the management of Naruvi Hospital which provided me this opportunity to share my thoughts today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ganga. A lot of perspectives need to be changed. May I call our second speaker for the day, Dr. Jayasheela, Consultant Obstetrics and Gynecology, to share her views on women empowerment.
மாதவராய் பிறப்பதற்கே நல்ல மாதவம் செய்திட வேண்டும் அம்மா. This was quotes from the Tamil poet Mahakavi Bharatiya. That means it's a privilege to be a woman, and I'm here. I'm really privileged to be among you all to empower women. Empowered women, empowered women. Good morning, one and all. First of all, advance happy Women's Day to all the lovely ladies in this hall. Before starting my speech, I would like to thank a few in my life for what I am here right now. I thank my mother for not killing me in her womb, because female feticide is a real problem. I owe my life to my parents for making the choice of continuing the pregnancy. I thank my father for giving me the liberty to make my life choice, breaking the stereotypes among the society to keep moving forward to pursue my studies. I owe my education to my father. I thank my husband, in-laws and my children for allowing me to follow my passion. Hence, I owe my career growth to my family members. Right to live, right of education, right to make life's choices are basic human rights. We all know that, but it has become a privilege in this gender unequal society, that especially in the third world countries. Women are strong, powerful and invincible beyond doubt. I want to quote from William Golding from the book Lord of Flies. He said, women are equal to men. Men, that's what we think, but they are far superior than men. When you give a seed, she'll make a garden. When you give a sperm, she'll make a baby. And when you give a grocery, she'll give you a meal. When you give a house, she'll give a home which is filled with love and peace. With thousands of mantras encouraging women's existence every day, a special day is indeed a necessity to celebrate women's achievements in all aspects of life. Whether she's a teacher, homemaker, economist, engineer or a pioneer, women have been making the world a better place with their infinite strength and determination and belief. This International Women's Day, we are celebrating and rejoicing the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women all over the world. It started since 1909 when 15,000 women marched and rallied through the New York City, followed by a worldwide call for a day to celebrate by a German socialist leader and a teacher, Clara Zetkin. This day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender equality. Every year they have a theme to celebrate International Women's Day. For the past 111 years they have the theme. The theme for this year is Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. As an obstetrician, I keep listening to stories every day in and out in my outpatient department. And I would like to share few which makes you all to understand gender equality exists everywhere in our country. Mrs. S, second-time mom, wants to have a voluntary termination of pregnancy in view of she having a girl baby before, worried in case if it's going to be girl again. That's a state of affairs, very sad state of affairs in our country. Second story is a young girl studying 9th standard has come with a menstrual problem and a weight gain during COVID lockdown. And I asked her what is her favorite sport, and she was thinking for a while with a sigh of relief. And I asked, I never played after attending her menarche. So I felt so sad for this girl, and I thought of going for a campaign to educate all the teachers in the school to give the PT period for them, which they are cancelling taking classes because of COVID lockdown curriculum to be completed. Third story from well-educated women coming for a C-section of her second baby could not make decision about tubal ligation as husband and their family was not allowing her to do the same. This is a tip of the iceberg which gives an idea about gender discrimination and inequality prevailing in our country. How are we going to empower these women? What is empowerment first of all? Empowerment means education. Educate everyone, whomever you come across, to make their life's choices. To make them live freely with a sense of self-worth, respect and dignity, to make their own choices and decisions and have equal rights to participate in social, religious and public activities. And respectful maternity care is our aim in the future in our Naruvi Hospital to give the best, pleasant and memorable journey throughout the pregnancy and intrapartum period. And we have to make the informed choices in all the healthcare decision making. And to conclude, I quote the words by Malala Yousafzai: "We cannot succeed when half of us are held back. No family, no organization, no nation can develop if half of its population is held back. Women's contribution to mankind cannot be measured and calculated. Their contributions are indispensable, and only thing required is to acknowledge them, support them, empower them, and see the pace they set for development. The empowered woman is powerful beyond measure and beautiful beyond description." Thank you all.
Thank you, doctors, for being the voice of women at Naruvi. I'm sure with great hands, we can do great things. A few words on the native of our guests for today. Uganda, the country that sparkles with natural riches and melts with unique native and foreign cultures. It is famous as the pearl of Africa among the travel circles. Cultures are born and some die, but over 50 tribes flourish within this nation. The people of Uganda possess a beautiful, generous and resilient soul, going through years of civil wars and political power struggles, but still welcoming all kinds of people to their lands. Now it's our turn to extend our welcome to them. I invite Ms. Birundi Sophie, in charge of commercial diplomacy, to say a few words about your country.
Hello, good morning. Sophie is my name, as you already informed. I'm just excited. I think I'll have a few things to say. First of all, I want to express my appreciation for the wonderful reception that we have been received well. So thank you so much. And also I want to express my appreciation to have been one of the staff that has visited this wonderful facility. And I also want to express my appreciation for being part of this wonderful event of women empowerment. So I will not say much as regards to the hospital because I've seen a lot. My words cannot express into totality what I've seen. I've seen a lot, and I think seeing is believing. More people from Uganda will have to come here and see, so that they believe that there are certain facilities that go extremely beyond, that you can have full life, full hope to life. In that stage where you feel that you don't have hope, there is a medical facility that can give you full hope that you still have time to live. Yeah. So we have seen a lot with the hospital, and I think for Uganda and this particular administration will need maybe to have a collaboration and sign an MOU for us to work together. I'm totally free. Yeah, I'm impressed with the kind of passion that the doctor have to save humanity, to save life. Because if you save life, you are closer to God. If you save life, I don't know how to describe. He is great. That's the only word I can say. Yeah, so we'll have to work together, and if possible, we'll have to sign an MOU for us to work together and save life. In India, we have MOU with a number of hospitals. We have an MOU with Medanta. You could be knowing of Medanta in New Delhi. And we have an MOU with a number of hospitals, a few hospitals that treat our patients from Uganda at a discounted rate of 20%. And for Ugandans, India is the way to go. Most of our patients don't go anywhere else, they come to India. For them, they only know about India. I have cancer, India is the place to go. I have sickle cells, India is the place to go. But however, they lack information of, okay, it is India. But where do I go? Which facility do I go to with a specific type of health complication? So as an embassy, we have a lot of work to do to try to inform, to sensitize people that, look, you still have hope for life. And with the health complication you have, you need to go to a facility A or B. But with what we have seen here, I promise you, we are going to recommend a number of patients from Uganda to come here, and they are saved. And I'm quite sure it can happen. Now, as regards to women empowerment, it's my area of interest because I'm a woman. I'm married, and I'm a mother. So when you talk about women, that's my topic of interest, of which I will not talk much. But when it comes to women empowerment, I think there is a lot that has to be done. We talk about women empowerment in theory, but not in practical. Women empowerment may be amongst the educated class, but when you go down in the villages, women don't even know what you're talking about. Women empowerment, what are you talking about? A woman at a village level is believed to be a subordinate. Is supposed to be yes woman. Everything is yes. You must give birth to 20 children, that is yes. The girl child is not supposed to go to school because she is supposed to be groomed to be a wife to someone. She is supposed to be a property, to be treated in any way the person likes. But when we talk about women empowerment, we seem to be only looking at the elites or the town areas. We don't look at the village. What type of life does a village woman go to? What kind of life does she lead? Does she have freedom to her body? Does she have freedom to her life? Does she have freedom to make a decision as a woman? So when we talk about women empowerment, it needs a holistic approach to be able to understand in totality what does a woman deep down in the village go through. Because in some parts of the world, in some parts of the countries, women don't even actually know their rights. They don't know that they have the right to live. A man can take her decision and kill her even the next day. Yeah. We have cases in Uganda whereby people have the right of having a national ID. But you all have it as Sophie, but when I reach home, a man takes over my national ID. I don't have the right of even having my national ID in my bag. That's how bad it is. Women go to the extent of going for family planning. It's secretive. A man will kill you just because you've gone for family planning, because you are supposed to produce, and not only produce, and even take care of those children. So a woman hides and goes for family planning and then hides the medicines in the bag. My mother has ever been a victim of that. We are 10 in numbers. We are 10 children. But the husband, my father, wanted her to have more. She was like, I don't think I have that strength to push more. So she shares a story with a friend, and the friend was like, but you can't go for family planning and do ABCD. Then she hides it in her bag. One morning, the man, I don't know what he was searching for, he comes across the family planning, those tablets. I'm like, what is this? So you've started, then the fight started there. They fought. Then the sons came up and says, Dad, this is the last time you're touching on our mother. The last time. And I want to tell you that was the last time he touched on my mother. Why I'm bringing a story related to myself is because I want to tell you that when it comes to women empowerment, there's a lot that has to be done. It is maybe perhaps just the beginning of the whole thing. The beginning of the struggle to empower women is just starting. But for us to do it into totality, there's still a lot that has to be done. And when we have to do it perfectly, we should not only restrict ourselves to town centers. We should go deep in the villages. That is where the problems are, to empower these women to be strong and to be able to express themselves freely in public and to be able to decide and make a choice on what they want. So that's the only thing I can say as regards to women empowerment, and maybe Ambassador will have a lot to say about it. But with regards to reception, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, madam. Naruvi means fragrance of care. We are sure our fragrance could reach Uganda too. It's time for the highlight of the day. I request Her Excellency, Madam India Grace Akello, to inaugurate and release the special women's healthcare package, and request Ms. Anita Sampath, our Vice Chairman, to receive the same. I'm humbled to introduce the chief guest for today. A short summary on Ambassador Dina Grace Akello. Prior to her appointment as Uganda's High Commissioner to New Delhi, Ambassador Dina Grace Akello worked as Ambassador of Uganda in the Republic of Italy. She was also permanent representative of Uganda to the UN Food and Agricultural Organization, World Food Programme, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. Based in New Delhi, Ambassador Akello is Uganda's envoy to India and Southeast Asian countries. She holds a Master of Arts degree in Human Development and Food Security and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Social Work and Social Administration. In her dedicated service spanning 45 years, Ambassador Grace Akello has served in various capacities in Government of Uganda, including as Minister and Member of Parliament, and in other global platforms such as the Commonwealth Secretariat, United Kingdom, and the East African Community. Writing takes up a good proportion of the ambassador's spare time. In her fourth book, Ms. Grace Akello explores vexing issues of income and spatial inequalities, showing how these have affected socio-economic growth in her country. She is married with 4 sons. So here we have a politician, essayist, folklorist, and above all, a poet who speaks her mind amidst us. To greet the poet within you, may I quote an age-old poem that resonates in the households of Tamil Nadu, sung to teach little girls the way of life, famously known as Papa Paattu. உயிர்களிடத்தில் அன்பு வேண்டும், தெய்வம் உண்மை என்று தான் அறிதல் வேண்டும், வைரமுடைய நெஞ்சு வேண்டும், இது வாழும் முறைமையடி பாப்பா, which translates in English to, love and be kind to every life on earth, realize that God is true, have a heart of steely resolve, and that's the way of living life, my little girl. Madam Ambassador, what better a model than you to portray the power of women? We are extremely privileged to have you here with us. I invite you to enlighten us with your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency, Madam Grace Akello.
Dr. Dina Sampath, the chairperson of Naruvi Hospital, and Mrs. Sampath, the medical director, this great institution, the distinguished specialists and specialist doctors who are practicing in this hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I am highly honored to be addressing you on an impromptu basis, more or less, on a very important day for me, and as I can see, for my Indian sisters. But I think it's a very important day for my Indian brothers as well, because without a woman, no one is born. It's just as simple as that. Without a woman, no one is born. So, I think all the men in this room will recall their moms. We treasure the memories of how they brought them up. We see how they were worried whether they went to school, and especially when it came to that period, we were worried whether they got the right woman to look after them for the rest of their lives. And that is a woman. So let me now go back more formally, try to make this speech. Like Dr. who thanked her father. I was born of three girls in my family. My mom died when I was 6 years old. My father was very poor, couldn't afford the funeral lunch. And so they said, what shall we do? So a rich neighbor came out and said, let us slaughter my cow. Slaughter my cow. Now when that young girl, excuse me, those of you who are Hindus, but we slaughter animals, cows in Uganda. So when that little girl grows up, she will marry my son. So at the age of 6 years old, I was betrothed to the husband in exchange for a cow for my mother's funeral lunch. And since then, I struggled and resisted everything that tried to put down a girl, pay for man's dates or for women's dates or for whatever day, and I've struggled until I have experienced freedom throughout my life. I know who I am. I know that I'm a girl, but I'm also a human being. I have a lot of respect for people who are not women, i.e. my brothers, the men. But first and foremost, I'm a human being. I am not compromised because I was created female. I want to thank my father because when they said I should not go to school and go to this man's home, my dad said, no, let Aquilo go to school. Then his brother said, let Aquilo go to school. And so I went to school. When the breast started coming out, they said, now she can get married. My father said, no, but she passed her primary living examination. When now I finished S4, now it was my time to say, that boy who failed his primary living examinations is not going to be my husband. And from then on, I was on my own, on my trajectory, to do what I believe God wanted me to do in the world and why He created me. So I want to thank my father. I want to hail the country in which I am now. When I was a young woman, probably in the Commonwealth Secretariat, I used to look at this Indian woman and see her in her saris with her smile, the way she was ruling a country, the way she was struggling with the issues of the times, the way she was speaking for India in all the international fora. And I said, wow, Madam Indira Gandhi is really a very powerful woman. And she became one of my icons, one of those women in the world who were a lead example to me, to emulate. Little did I know that the way God has worked in my life, I would be in Indira Gandhi's country, talking to her people, seeing some of the struggles that she was working on about, and working with her people also to change the world and to build this strong relationship that exists between Uganda and India. But Indian women's liberation did not stop with Gandhi. I have been in India and I have met women scientists. I have seen you women doctors. I have seen women teachers. I have bumped into women scientists. I have bumped into women politicians now, the new generation that's coming up. In the writing circles, I've bumped into Indian women writers. And, there's a lot of hope everywhere. Because when I was growing up, also, S5, S6, senior secondary 5, senior secondary 6, I was in school with Indian girls. And then, before India kicked them out of Uganda, and we used to watch stories about India. They would tell us how they were committing infanticide, how the girl child was nothing, and so on. But now I come to India, and I really have to support the government. I really hate the government of India. Because the issue of caste is no longer there. The issue of female subordination is still there, but it's increasingly becoming less and less. And I hope that in time, there will be this opportunity for India to use all her children, male and female, to continue to develop this great nation. I am here and I am with the officers and from Tamil Nadu government. Yesterday I was told that you've had an election. I hope this is correct. But what I learned is that for all the municipalities, there are 38 municipalities, and in all these 38 municipalities, 23 women who have been made mayors. And I thought, wow, this man is very smart. The leader of Tamil Nadu is very smart, because what he wants to make sure is that the women are the ones who clean up the state, who pull up the standard, who continue to do the mothering, caring, cleaning, perfecting role that every woman plays in life. And that has been brought into the public life, into the political life of Tamil Nadu. I hail your chief minister very, very much. This story is true. Then he knows what it is all to be a son of a woman. I want to say, in my own, another thing which was fascinating to me, yes, and this is about women here. You know, when I was growing up, when I was having my children, at first I used to feel really bad to go to the hospital. Then the doctor says, I'm pregnant. Then this man says, strip. I say, what? Yes, I want to examine you. So I take off my clothes, says, even your knickers, take them off. And so I lie there, and this man is touching me all over. And it used to be terrible for me. And then I realized after the first child, then I said, okay, it's normal. The men, they have the knowledge and so on. But here, I was told here in the state of Tamil Nadu that you have a policy where all the gynecologists, you can correct me if I'm wrong, all the gynecologists are women. They are encouraging more so that the women see what it is like to be with the other. The women understand when something is not quite right. And the other woman who's carrying a baby, happens to be carrying a new life, doesn't have the extra pressure of knowing that that man knows that I look like this or that this is what's wrong with me. So again, I want to take the government of Tamil Nadu. Now my commercial secretary talked about Uganda. Those are the things I was fighting about. All my life, I have fought to be free. Nobody's going to sit on my head unless I want him to. Okay? So, I fought in discrimination in Uganda. I wrote books, I wrote papers, I presented articles on them. I was married, I said no. This violence against me is not going to do at all. And then what really made me say no, and I decided even if it meant that people laughed at me and said I had left the marriage, was that one day this handsome man who I love so much came and beat me up again, yet again. So I just picked a stone and beat him in every possible part that I could beat. Every possible part. The following day, I woke up, I looked at this man, his face was swollen, his arms were swollen, every part that had been beaten, and I was beating with a stone like this in my hand. I said, oh my God, next time I'll just go away and leave this son so that his mother doesn't feel that I murdered her son. And that's exactly what I did. Just got up and left. But since then, Sophie, a lot has been done by the current government in Uganda. In Uganda, domestic violence, if a woman reports, am I getting late? If a woman reports that my husband has beaten me and takes that, the man gets locked up. Before they even ask questions, he gets locked up. In Uganda, a rape is a hanging offense. Rape a woman, you hang. In Uganda, we have representation in parliament of women reserved. A third of the seats in parliament are for women. And they speak up, these women speak up. In Uganda, we have local governments. And unlike you have state governments, because you have a much bigger country. So for us, instead of the states, we have what we call districts. So each district has a district local council. For you, you call them state assemblies. A third of all the seats in the district councils are reserved for women. We have youth councils. A third of the seats in youth councils are reserved for women. Everywhere, women's voice is there. In cabinet, we have women ministers. Our vice president is a woman. Our prime minister is a woman. We have many cabinet ministers who are women. So this government has done a lot to empower women. Unlike during my age, when they said no education for women, they used to tell my father, "What's wrong with you? You can see that this girl will soon become a prostitute. Why do you want her to keep on going to school?" And my father said, "Aquilo passes her exams, let her go to school." Okay. So now we also have this man, Museveni. When he came into power, he found a situation where I think ever since Uganda came to be as an independent nation, there were only less than 5 women who had come into prominence. When Museveni came to power, the first thing he did was to make sure that those local councils that I talked about, parliaments and so on, he instituted that as a policy. Then secondly, more fundamentally, he made sure that he introduced universal primary education. Every child must go to school, regardless of whether they are women, whether they are a boy or a girl, every child must go to school. And in some societies which were resisting, they even came up with a special program for girls to make sure that they went to school and stayed in school. And then he introduced after primary education. Because primary, by the time most of the children finish primary, they are not yet adolescents. So he said, universal secondary education, all girls must go to school. So therefore, all the things will soon be history in our country. All you have to do is pray that we continue to have the clear-headed leadership that the present president has guaranteed. Now, let me conclude this so that people don't feel. Sometimes I came across this one. When you talk about women issues, you talk about them so much so that me as a mother of boys, although I'm a woman, I get uncomfortable. Because you have some of these women who will say, men are like this, men are like this. Even bad boys. So what about my boys? Then I look back and I say, my father is the one who said I must go to school. And stood by me and paid fees. They mocked him. They mocked him right up the time when I finished senior secondary 6 and I had breasts like this. And they said she still has that books. And then when his proudest moment was when I went home and he said, "Papa, I've been admitted to Aquilo University." Oh, you should have seen me. Aquilo is going to university. My daughter is going to university. And I was one of maybe 400 girls throughout Uganda who were going to university. 400 those times. One of 4. My father was the proudest man in Deso, not just in my village, but in my part of Uganda. So, therefore, when this men, men. My children are boys. My father was a man. So, I just want to say that the SDG, I forget now what it said, I don't know whether it's 6 or 5 or joint. Gender equality. For me, I am very happy for men and women to stand side by side and do things together. Looking at what my brain can contribute, what his brain can contribute. Celebrating the fact that I have breasts and he has other parts which are not breasts. And that this contribution that we make to our society will build both men and women. And therefore, I want to conclude my report by referring to the Bible. For me, as a Christian, the Bible tells us God made man and woman. Okay? He gave them different roles, but he made them, and they were his children. When you come and look for the purpose for which God made man and woman, it is so that they work together and help each other and nurture each other. It's in this way that I want to end this by, I have asked for permission from one of the parties, so the other party will forgive me because I didn't have time to ask for permission. I want to say, if you look at the example of your chairperson, Dr. Samba of Naruvi Hospital, this is perfect example of what God or how we should live with each other on this planet. He's a man, but he has built this hospital. She's a woman. She has stood by him all this time. I bet the many times when come and say, I'm so fed up with those people. They should calm down. Just take this calm down. Have some tea. Okay, maybe watch this. Let's watch this together. Let's do this. And then slowly, he relaxes. Huh? And then the mind comes back again. Normally, what's that saying? Now, I have to go. And we have this meeting. This is the way we are supposed to be. Supporting each other, helping each other, encouraging each other, loving each other. And this love will not only end in the family. Today we are talking about Uganda coming together. I never met this man in my whole life. I didn't even know I would see him. But I'm here with him. Why? Because of the love and the strength that they have had as a family, working together, supporting each other to build this wonderful hospital. Tomorrow maybe Ugandans will come here. If they don't come here, the Nigerians will come here. The South Americans will come here. Everybody who sees anything excellent that is produced, we always pursue that something that is produced. Therefore, people are going to come to the hospital here from all over the world. And that is how God wants us to live with each other. You extend that from the family, the family, you extend it to the world, then we have a very strong world. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. It was a complete privilege listening to you. As a token of our love and appreciation, I request Dr. G.V. Sampath, Chairman, Naruvi Hospitals, to honor the Chief Guest with a moment. I request Ms. Anita Sampath, Vice Chairman, Naruvi Hospitals, to honor Ms. Sophie with a memento. I request our Chairman to honor Dr. Gani with a memento.
Thank you, sir.
All good things come to an end. May I call Dr. Paul T. Henry, Executive Director, Naruvi Hospitals, to give away the vote of thanks.
Your Excellency, His Grace, the Honorable Ambassador of Uganda to India, Ms. Sophie, Officer in charge of Commercial Diplomacy. On behalf of our beloved Chairman, Dr. Sampath, and all the Naruvians, I wish to place on record our sincere gratitude for sparing your invaluable time and effort to grace the occasion of the launch of the International Women's Week celebrations in Naruvi Hospitals. God made mothers because God could not give away. And no one could do the honors of celebrating womanhood better than Her Excellency Ms. Grace and Ms. Sophia. Thank you, Your Excellency and Ms. Sophia. Jai Hind.
To all the women out here, champions keep playing until they get it right. Let's play it well. Manadil urudhi vendum, kanavu maipada vendum. Let's close the event with our national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगति तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय हे